Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Reds Rundown podcast, hosted by two lifelong Reds fans and journalists. I'm Rob, he's Joe, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Joe, as always, we start by asking, how you doing?
Doing good. Football season's closer. Got to go to the Reds game yesterday, and even though it was lost, it was nice to be in the sun. So good stuff there. But yeah, I was excited for football season. As I say every week at this podcast, at this point, the Reds disappoint me. So got to find a new way to channel my creativity and time. I don't know.
The Bengals won the all-important first preseason game, so that was good to see. Hopefully, they can be better. Hopefully, the injuries will not amass as they have been seemingly doing for a lot of teams this preseason, Joe. It's been very interesting to watch. But this is a Reds podcast, not an NFL one. You guys can get all the NFL content over at the Game House that Joe is writing, though, and go check out the NFL draft page, Draft House, if you want to get some good stuff ahead of time for next season's draft. But let's get into it today, Joe. We are going to do the question of the day is, are you still watching? Are you still watching the Reds? Are you still keeping up? If you're watching this show, you probably are. Or if you're listening, you probably are. But, just let us know. We'll talk injuries. We will go over what are the reasons why you're watching. What should you be watching for, basically, Joe? And then we'll talk Cardinals D-backs. So, and then obviously, we got to catch up on games this past week. Forgot about that. So let's just hippity hop into that portion of this show. Joe, the Reds started off pretty strong this week. They won 2 of 3 against the White Sox, a team that is in first place, one of the few AL teams that are above 500 this season, which is pretty insane to say when you think about it. But what's interesting is that, Joe, the Reds won both games basically. Or not basically, they won by 1 run. In both of those games, they lost the one by 5, which has been kind of their MO, it would seem like, this season. Nick Lodolo came back, got lit up a little bit, but I think, he kind of was just finding his footing before he had a much better start, later this week. Gino has seemingly started to heat up as well, as he had 2 home runs in this season. Sal hit a home run and almost got plunked by Davis Martin, which was some weak sauce, to say the least. Not almost, did get plunked by him. Thank God it hit his helmet and not Sal's face. This was a weird series. Luis Castillo comes in and was electric. Looked like the Luis Castillo of old. That changeup was gross. And, you thought, hey, winning 2 of 3 against a first place team, whether it's AL first place or not, would start things off pretty well for this week, Joe.
Yes, I mean the White Sox are a team that much better at home than they are on the road. They're like under 500 on the road this year. At home, they're like 37 and 24. So this was a good series win, especially after last week we went 500. We were thinking, hey, if we win the first series against the White Sox, then you get the Marlins and the probably comparable teams, both teams that are above 500. Just White Sox in the much easier American League this year, and both teams were not really expected to be where they are right now. Most teams are not expected to be above 500 at this point in the season. So very similar teams, but you get the win on the road. Suarez had 2 home runs in the series. That was huge. The Sal home run and then getting decked in the helmet on Davis Martin was crazy. I'm glad the team had his back to go step up. I mean, obviously, there wasn't a fight, but at least went out there and said something. It's crazy when guys are throwing fastballs. You don't miss twice hot. You might miss one time, Rob. You don't miss twice
Yeah.
up high like that in a row. So I don't know what their specific issue was with Sal Stewart. He is a little bit cocky sometimes. I personally love it, and other
Mm-hmm.
players are way worse about that stuff. So that was weird. But yeah, this was this series where kind of defines what the Reds are in terms of like the inconsistencies, right? So the first game they score 5 runs, second game 0 runs, and what they only get 4 or 2 hits by Luis Castillo, who 10 strikeouts too for him. It was cool to see him pitch, even if he's not on our team and it came at our cost. But then we win 9-8, so it's like we get one good offensive game, 5 runs. If you score 5 runs every game, the Reds are right in it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we score like 2 to 3 most games, and you get 9 in the last game. You think get some momentum building there. Win the series against the White Sox, and you're kind of thinking, okay, maybe we win the series against the Marlins, and you're in a good spot because that's what the margin is. Rob, is that um, that White Sox series? I think maybe the last bit of hope. We talked if you wanted to really have anything, maybe win all 6 this week, maybe win 5 out of 6. Now you get to a spot where you're 59 and 64. It's like we talk about it all the time. You get 2 extra wins this week, you're 61 and 62. Or you get 2 extra, one week, 1 win this week, 1 win last week. You're one game under 500. You're 5 games back or whatever, 6 games back. It was probably over anyway at this point, but this was like where you still had a little bit of hope. And then obviously the Padres keep on winning games. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and that wild card spot is going way up higher in terms of what the wins you're going to need. I thought maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe you just need 85, 86, and now it's like the Padres have 67 wins already. The Phillies are tied with them, 67 wins. It's going to be a lot more. So officially nailed the coffin. I've seen some Reds accounts still post that like the Cardinals are like the series against Cardinals with 5 games. That could be huge for the Reds season. It could define the season. If you win all 5, and it's still very, very tough to get to a point where that means anything. So very disappointing, but that was the bright spot was, hey, we beat a good team on the road who's typically very good at home. So that's good.
Yeah, it was good. And they played well. And, like you said, they went to the defense of Sal, which they should. I mean, Sal is not even close to arrogant to me. I think he really treads the line of confident, right? And he has belief in who he is, right? And he's not going to let that stop him. He's not going around telling other people that they suck or anything. He's still trying to go out there and learn and be the best he can. And he's finding a way to enjoy um the game, right? Like he's finding a way to, even when the team isn't winning necessarily, that he's going to have fun and he's still going to be Sal. And I do respect that. We've not had a guy who has that strong of a mental in a really long time. So it was disappointing. You go 2-1 here against the White Sox, like you said, and you thought maybe, just maybe, this team has a shot. But then you play the Marlins, and for some reason lately, the NL East has been our bane. Originally it was the NL Central, now it's been the NL East, and the Reds dropped 2 against the Marlins after winning a really fun 1-0 game in the first one, where Chase Burns, I mean, I know they've got innings on him or whatever, and they're just kind of watching, I think, to see, because you got to stretch him out at some point. I think this was kind of the problem that they talked about with like Andrew Abbott and stuff in the past, where if you remember, it took, he would seemingly break down near the end of the season, right around this time, honestly. But it was just because they weren't giving him the opportunity to kind of leg it out more, right? They were putting him on the IL for shoulder fatigue. But, Chase Burns is just ridiculous, dude. He goes out there, 7 innings, 4 hits, 8 Ks. Brock Burke comes in, 3 strikeouts in his lone inning. Emilio Pagan has been absolute, talk about nails. He has been nails since he's come back. I mean, it is like whatever the hamstring issue was, it was clearly there early on in the season, because now that deal is looking pretty good, Joe. I think you and I were kind of wavering on it, but I mean, if he can be this lockdown for next season too, I mean, maybe you don't need a closer. I mean, he seriously has been outrageously good since he has come back. But I mean, the Reds got some hits. It was tough. I mean, they did face some good pitching. Sandy Alcantara is obviously really good here. I don't know who this Gusto guy was, but he had some really good stuff. Looked like the Reds were not seeing it super well in that game. And then Yuri Perez, he's still young, but golly, whenever he figures it out, Joe, he is going to be, like, really consistently figures it out. He is going to be a huge problem for, all of Major League Baseball. But this one was tough. It felt like the Reds were really getting ready to win this game. The second game specifically, TJ Antone had a rough weekend where he wasn't terrible, but, he just wasn't his normal lockdown self. Unfortunately, it seems like maybe he's getting a little bit fatigued. I wouldn't be surprised to see an IL stint for him coming up with Tony Santillan, just because I don't think they want to make him have a 4th Tommy John surgery. RIP, by the way. But this series was just tough. Apparently the Reds went back in, Joe. I'm sure you saw the report. They went back in, and nobody was talking. Everybody was really upset about that game on Saturday, and they just could not come back in the game on Sunday and make it happen. Their offense has been anemic, Joe. They have scored 1 run or less in 3 of their last 4 games. It has not been pretty.
No, it hasn't. Most of the players are slumping right now. Ellie's in a worse slump he's had maybe of his career the last like 8 games. Suarez is hitting the ball. I mean, he's been a guy who 2 home runs in the White Sox series. He has that double and RBI in the first game of the Marlins series. But yeah, everyone else is kind of it's not working, and we were out there throwing Michael Toglia in the outfield and TJ Friedel, and TJ Friedel doesn't have hit since the All Star game, since before the All Star game. Um, and that doesn't seem like it's the most serious thing. And yeah, I get that. Like obviously, our outfielders have issues. Hector Rodriguez obviously hasn't been seeing the ball well, and Noel Marte is still batting around 200, but Poglia is batting worse right now in limited time, and TJ Friedel just offers us nothing. And I hate to say it because I love that guy, but he's there's no reason for him to be playing right now if you're trying to compete. And even if you're not trying to compete, I'd rather get the young guys more reps. I want to get these guys. I don't care if any of them play center field. Put them in center field. I want these guys to figure out how they're going to approach the plate when they're at the plate. And I think that's something that they need to do. Like, screw the defense. Defense does not matter for the rest of the season. We're not going to make the playoffs. Let's get all these young guys at bats and see who's worth keeping for next year, who's worth starting, who's worth being a bench piece, who's worth trading this offseason, and get those figured out. Whether that is Hector Rodriguez and Marte starting every day. Let's see if Blade can figure this out, or maybe he was just a first half wonder. Let's play those guys who we think might actually have an impact on the team next year. That's something that was kind of frustrating with this series. We saw a lot of guys. Playing in this series and in a lot of the games that were just like, why are we playing these guys at this point in the season? And that was frustrating. I like your point about Pagan, Rob. He's been great. I think it kind of shows that injuries obviously were terrible, but the depth of the bullpen was bad. We're throwing out bullpen guys that have no business. We're bringing up McCambly today for our extra guy for the doubleheader for the Cardinals series, Rob. And it's just like, so a lot of these guys are not figuring out anything. Like you said, Antone has gone through a lot this year and been good for us. Um, Ron Marinaccio is the guy they pitched yesterday at the end, and he was bad. And it's just there's just not many guys they can bring up with much confidence. And even if you do have Pagan pitching well, and even Pierce Johnson, and even some of the lefties, that's fine. But when they go to their fourth or fifth best pitcher these times, and that yes, Brian Mashcraft is hurt. Yes, Tony Santillan's hurt, and those guys would help the depth.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no depth beyond the guys they originally planned to have in the bullpen this year, and the original bullpen wasn't good. Maybe that's because Tony was hurt and he was pitching. Maybe it's because Pagan was hurt and he was pitching, but this depth is pathetic, and that's why we're losing games. And that's getting tiring to see. I think the starters have been put in a spot where it's like, hey, we need to go longer to help the bullpen. And when they do, it's good. But then the starters kind of get burnt out and the bullpen comes in for more innings and they get burnt out and they give up runs. It hasn't been a complimentary baseball team. There's also been a lot of controversy. Last thing I'll say about this series, Rob, that Lodolo came out in the third game. The third game was very much in play through 7. It was a 0-0 tie. It was a good pitcher's duel, but they had to take out Lodolo after the 5th inning. People were criticizing Terry. Terry said, hey, Lodolo told me he was about done for the day. He's still coming back from the blister issue, all that stuff. I'm going to, obviously believe Terry that I'm not going to put in Lodolo, an injury-prone pitcher, if he says he's close to done. That's weird. Lodolo said, he didn't want to go too many more pitches, but then they said there was a 75 pitch count on him on Sunday, which is kind of crazy. So it seems like this is a way to protect Lodolo for the future, and they just need to get on the same page next. Maybe Derek Johnson coming back, maybe hiring a new pitching coach if Derek Johnson is unable to come back. We don't know what's going on with the situation. Don't want to speculate, but it seems like there's been a lot of people not on the same page, and it starts obviously ownership isn't on the same page, as front office isn't on the same page, as the manager isn't on the same page, as the hitting and pitching coaches isn't on the same page as the players, and that goes all the way down to the minor league system where we are doing okay, and then the players come up and we're bad. So. Controversy over that stuff online, but I don't think there's much controversy. I think if Lodolo said he was kind of trying to conserve his arm or felt like it was at the end of the day, then what are you going to throw the injury-prone pitcher back out there when he's coming back from injury? That seems like a great idea.
In a game that's, I think those are the people who are still holding on to hope, Joe. That's why. And let's be real. 73 pitches in 5 innings, no earned runs. I think we'll take that from Lodolo right now. He went 5. It's okay. Julian Garcia came in and gave 2 great innings. This dude who you didn't even expect to be in the bullpen has a 3 ERA. It's like, I don't know. I think the bigger issue is we got to talk about hitting. JJ Bleday hasn't hit in a month. It's been Ellie and Sal. Ellie had his easily his worst game. You move Matt McLean up the lineup, right? He strikes out 3 times. He is literally your 8 or 9 hitter, period. He'll have games where he'll pop off. He's so good defensively. I think that that's your guy that you would rather, like, if they're going to pick a guy, Joe, in my opinion, that's going to be defense first, he hits well enough to where I think he's obviously much better than Ke'Bryan Hayes. I don't know if you've seen this, but his batting average on ball put in play is still like 148. One of the most unlucky seasons I've ever seen, because he does look like he's hit the ball better, to be honest with you, but it's still just not enough. I mean, you can't. There is a point where he's just basically hitting not full line drives, not full on flyouts. They're kind of like in that weird middle ground where if he was able to find a way to get him down the line or in the gaps, he'd be a doubles machine.
Mhm.
Um, I'm still not fully giving up on him, but like if you're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna go defense first at one position because that's generally what you can afford to do in today's game, then I'm fine with McLean being there, but he has to be at the bottom of your lineup. I mean, it's really sad that like Jose Trevino and Tyler Stevenson are both batting 250, and those were the third best batting averages on the team yesterday.
Yeah. Jose Trevino had a great game. He had 2 hits. We're so
Oh,
back.
he's been on a tear. Every time he's
You
played,
know,
he's been playing well, but it's
yeah,
just
we talked about like he was so good at the early part of last season when Stevenson was hurt, and then he hadn't done anything until like the last month or so. And now he's
yeah.
back, and that's all you need from the backup catcher, even if I don't want to pay him all that money. You mentioned Brian Hayes, Rob. This is from Planet of the Moochers on Reddit. He is on pace for the lowest BABIP in history
Yeah.
of the Major League Baseball. And what they said was like this really like I agree with what you're saying. Like a lot of the times it's like, oh, this has some good velocity coming out, but it just goes, not quite a line drive, not quite a fly ball that's going to go over the wall, just kind of in between. But his exit velocity is relatively similar to the last couple of years. So it really is like really bad luck. I'm not if this guy's this bad luck, I'm not saying put him higher in the order either, but I just thought that was a unique thing. Is like they look through all the stats and saying like he's kind of just doing what he always does, but the batting average is so much lower, and that's just so unlucky that a lot of times if that happens, if the BIBIPs I like to call it because it's funny to say
Mhm.
goes down, it's because of exit velocity or anything else. This is just it's pure luck. Like maybe the launch angle can be changed a little bit, but the swing's pretty similar. And
I
I,
actually
I
think
feel
he's
bad
hit the
that
ball better than he did last year, honestly. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it,
he stings the ball and it just goes like I've never seen somebody like Tyler Stevenson, I think, had a little bit earlier this season, Joe. I apologize for interrupting, but I want to throw this in there. Like, maybe I'm just an idiot. It's very possible. But I feel like every time I see him swing the bat, it's like a line drive ish, but it's right at somebody. I mean, it's like even in the infield, he'll hit one and it's right at the second baseman or right at the shortstop or right at the third baseman. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this guy? You know?
I, yeah, I wonder too if like this ballpark was built for power hitters, and we don't have the prototype. We have some guys who have power, right? And
That's a
Gino,
good point. That's a good
but
point.
like they're like. And to my even to my discredit, like maybe getting Luis Ariz is not the method for something for this team that I mentioned this offseason because there's not as much space for people to cover. So this is also the guy on the last of the Moochers did the math and said if he were to have an average BIBIP, his batting average, he'd be slashing 273, 307, and 364. He'd be like the best hitter on the team right now. So there is something to that. He's unlucky. Obviously, if someone's that unlucky, you have to move him down the order. You can't put him higher, but um, hope might not be lost for next season. I'm not saying that it's not a weak point going into next season if he's starting at third base, but I am saying that like if the Reds have to spend money on the bullpen or another starting pitcher because Hunter Green's out
Outfield.
or an outfield, starting Brian Hayes at third is fine. Having him as a rotational guy, especially against lefties, he's been better against lefties. What if you put Sal at third and Steer at first, and he comes off the bench or he plays 100 games instead of 162 or 80 games instead of 162, then it's not the worst thing in the world. So that was a really cool insight from him. And like I said, I hope he can get some luck, man. It just really sucks for Brian Hayes. And I get why people are mad at him for all the stats he's putting up, but just you don't see guys that unlucky very often. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, if you look beyond the batting average, it just like I look at his at bats and I'm like, it doesn't feel like a wasted at bat like everybody says it is. You know what I mean? Like if he's not always productive, but it's not as like TJ Friedel to me has felt like a totally useless at bat pretty much
Mhm.
every single time he has come up. Noel V. Marte even. Like, I know Marte has like a higher average, has more home runs, whatever, but he just swings at nothing constantly. I mean, I don't know. It's this team is really confusing. I mean, JJ Bleday's batting 217, but like his OPS is still 772 because he's walking still a lot. He's still being useful. What this team is really missing right now, Joe, like 100% the guy who they are missing is Spencer Steer. He would solve so many of this team's issues, and I guarantee you he would have gotten at least a couple more wins for this team since he's been out. Like I really truly believe that. I think because he'd be solving the outfield issue that they would have. If he needed to play the infield, he'd be able to do that. He'd be that consistent 4 or 5 hitter that you could have that's gonna at least make contact, get some good hits. I'm gonna say it. I've been tweeting it a bunch. They need to extend him like now. This to me is so apparent how important he is to the actual framework of this team. Like Ellie and Sal are the stars. JJ seems like he's going through a slump, but that's because there's nobody else hitting. Like that dude can't carry an offense by himself necessarily, but I think he's a solid piece. And if you have Spencer Steer there, right? Like you're feeling a lot better about this team because he can do it all. Like I know he's like a fan favorite for me, like he always has been, but like I think you're seeing this team and you're like, damn, they're having to start Michael Toglia in right field and first base on a consistent basis. Damn, they're having to start, TJ Friedel in center field. Like Steer's not gonna play center field, but like he's still gonna hit and he's gonna hit consistently and he's still gonna have home runs. It's just I feel like he's the one who's missed right now, really and truly. Like I think of all the things that this team like could really use, it's him, and I think they need to lock him up. I think he and Tyler Stevenson need to get locked up this offseason. I would give them an automatic C to start the offseason just for locking them up, and then I'll even go further. I'll give them automatic B for giving them an extension, and
Yeah,
then we
he's
can go from there.
as long as the money plays out. Obviously, you're signing those guys, and maybe not Stevenson, but for Steer, the value he's going to get on the open market, or as opposed to what like it's not going to be as much because he's had some ups and downs. But Rob, crazy to say, obviously Stevenson came in yesterday but didn't play. You said that they would be better with Spencer Steer in the lineup. He would have had the third best lineup out of any qualified hitter we had in the lineup yesterday. He would have been the fourth best hitter with Cervino being ahead of him, obviously now with his 2 hits yesterday going up in the batting average. But just be getting another 167 batter out of the lineup, 148 batter out of the lineup, whoever you want to take out of the lineup, just putting that is like too many guys hitting in the 100s for this point of the season. Yes, some of the guys like Toglia just got up here, whatever, but still too many guys with batting in the 100s in the lineup for a Major League Baseball team. Average doesn't mean everything, but when we're sitting here looking at that like yes, a guy batting 238, typically not a savior for a lineup, but with how bad our lineup is and a glue guy, that would have meant the world. And
he
yes,
has
having Stevenson in yesterday would help. He got a hit too, so like it would have helped too. Um, but that's just that's what's so sad about the Reds is like I do think Spencer Steer is a good player, and him coming back on whatever the team had right now would be good, but just by default, him being back is better because that's how bad we've been.
I know, and it's really disappointing. I mean, God, even have Nate Lowe's batting 286 right now for Cleveland. I mean, he's had 10 hits in his first 10 games. I mean, it's just like it's why I'm struggling. I mean, Dane Myers has been pretty good too, by the way. He didn't play yesterday, but I mean, he's basically your center fielder going forward. I mean, it's just like it's just disappointing. I mean, Spencer Steer has had the same production as a Eugenio Suarez in terms of basically home runs and RBIs. I mean, it's very comparable. Imagine if he'd been playing for the last 3 weeks. I mean, the amount of RBI situations for him, like, I mean,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
imagine him playing, and imagine if there was someone else getting on base too. Like I feel like that's been such a big thing with this team is they're all the solo home runs, right? So imagine like the statistical outliers of these guys having 20 home runs. Like Sal's the only one with RBIs, right? But like everyone else is very even Ellie at 56, and yes, he's batting leadoff now, but No one gets on base at the end of the lineup. Spencer Steer has 16 home runs with 40 RBIs. How much he's played, you would figure that would be higher. Blade with 47 with how many home runs, 20 home runs and 47 RBIs. Like, what do we do? What are we doing? So I think that's something that, and we just talked about it. Maybe getting a pure contact hitter isn't the way to go, but get someone else who can get on base, man. I don't know.
I
Get
want a
someone who takes
doubles hitter.
walks.
What this team
Yeah,
needs is just like what Castellanos was, is what this team needs. Is a guy, and really, as people won't love this, is Jamer Candelario. What he was before he came to the Reds, which was a gap hitter, right? Was like your pull down the line gap hitter. Like that's what this team needs. Now, not Jamer, right? Because he obviously is now out of baseball because for some reason he just forgot how to hit after he signed with the Reds. But they need a guy who can just hit it into the gaps. He doesn't necessarily have to have the most power, but like, Arias I think is good in what you have said, obviously, but like I want a guy who's gonna hit 265 and have 35 to 40 doubles this season. Like you do that for the Reds, he might hit 15 or 20 home runs, whatever. But like this team, because then there's a guy in scoring position, like this team I think gets immensely better. And I think that's what they're going to have to look for in the offseason, at least in my opinion. That's what it's got to be. We kind of derailed, but
no, you're kind of describing. I mean, not as many doubles as this, but kind of describing young Eugenio Suarez when wasn't
yeah,
hitting 40. It was hitting
yeah.
like 20, 22, 25 doubles, batting
Mm-hmm.
260 to 283 to 270 most
Mm-hmm.
years. I just had to look it up to confirm, but he was the guy that I was like, those couple of years before he started really trying to hit for power, and even the one year he did hit for power with the 49 home runs, he was great. But when he's really like early career, when we had that guy, he was such a boost with this lineup. So that's what I thought of too. Is this guy who can have doubles would be nice.
I mean,
But
Nimmo,
yeah,
Brandon Nimmo right now would be the guy who the Reds would want.
yeah,
28 doubles, 13 home runs, 271 batter, OBP 337. That's what you want right there. Brandon Nimmo. That's the him, or the guy who I've always really liked is Weiler Abreu. I'd hoped that that's who the Reds would try to go for the Red Sox. He's got 27 doubles, 22 home runs this year, 257 average. Like that's the kind of stuff you want. You want a strong doubles hitter. I mean, maybe if the Giants give up on Jung-Hoo Lee, although he's having an outrageous season, but he's really good at getting it into the gap. There are guys out there that the Reds can get. Even Troy Johnston, who is, I think, well, I don't know. I'm sure he mostly has doubles because he's just playing in Colorado. But there are guys out there who I think they need a hitter who's not pure power, not pure, average, just like that middle of the road type hitter. Because I think Sal is like your all around can do it. I think Ellie is becoming your all around can do it type of guy too. You just need a guy who's directly in the middle. Not that he's excellent in any area, but just doubles. Doubles, 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 doubles. That's what I want for this team. That'd be fine with me. Let's move on.
yeah.
Injuries. Spencer Steer, speaking of, slated to remove his splint to do mobility exercises with hand and wrists a week ago. I've not heard anything really since. I've even heard a lot of people on radio as I've been driving around going, what's going on with him? Hopefully he'll be back before the end of the month. Can't really say for sure. Tony Santillan logged a perfect inning in AAA Louisville, striking out one while facing three Toledo batters. Has 3 strikeouts in 2 innings for Louisville. I would anticipate he is up probably sometime even tomorrow, I would guess. Tomorrow or Wednesday. Brandon Williamson made his 4th rehab start, tossing 3 2/3, allowing 5 hits, 1 run, striking out 2. He had 70 pitches as his limit. He threw 63. They're probably going to leave him down there as long as they can until they have to make a move and potentially bring him up. Graham Ashcraft, which was good, threw 18 pitches against TJ Friedel and Hector Rodriguez. His arm apparently felt really good. He just got really tired and probably would have thrown more. But so he's going to have to kind of build up that endurance. No surprises there. But, if we are going to make a run, having Tony and Graham back would be very helpful, along with Spencer Steer. So, any thoughts on them?
Yeah, for most of these guys, we mentioned with Steer, maybe getting the surgery is the best call. And we haven't had updates, so it's hard to say. But yeah, that'll be something to look into. And yeah, like these guys, I mean, if they shut any of these guys down for the season, that's fine. I don't really care. Whatever they want to do, as long as it's not going to impact next year at this point, is fine. So if it's getting their feet wet with Tony and Graham, getting them back and just kind of throwing a little bit, maybe not the high leverage situations, just an inning here, inning there, fine. But otherwise, do whatever you have to do to get them ready for next year. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
The Reds also did something real quickly, Joe, that happened while we've been on show. They brought up Kent Emmanuel from AAA Louisville and DFA'd Ron Marinaccio. Emmanuel, who is 34, last pitched in the big leagues at 24, and he was pitching for the Independent League High Point Rockers before signing with the Reds earlier this month, and will now make his Reds debut sometime probably today or tomorrow. So, all right. Why are we watching still, Joe? I think there are a couple things to watch for this team. I think, Chase Burns won't win the NL Cy Young, but I want to see how far up he can get. I think that's one. And then the other big one is Sal's Rookie of the Year. And I wanted to kind of go through that here, Joe, because it's really down to him and JJ Weatherholt. And there's been a lot of debate as to WAR and what that comes down to. What I'm going to give you guys are just the pure unadulterated stats. I want to look at errors and everything like that as well. So let's look at this real quickly here, Joe, and then I would love to get your thoughts on it. So pulling up Sal's right now. Apologies. All right, so let's just start with defense, because that seems to be the thing that everybody is pointing to. JJ has played almost every game at second base. He has played a couple games at shortstop. He only has 2 errors so far this season. He has leading baseball, apparently, in assists at 337. They're getting a lot of balls hit to him. Sal has, it looks like, 2 errors. Also only has 2 errors so far this season, Joe, unless if I'm missing something here. He only has 2 real errors so far this season, but his defensive WAR has not been great. I think you and I have watched. I don't think he's been outrageous, but he definitely has some good plays. He had a huge pick for a double play over the weekend. That was really good as well. So if you're looking, at defensive WAR, Sal is considered to be a bad defensive player at a minus 0.7, which is pretty crazy. Again, Weatherholt has the 2 errors. He should have gotten one over the weekend where he literally dropped a pop-up. I know the winds were swirling in Chicago, but didn't look like it was going to be that hard to catch necessarily. Matt McClain made a similar play like that just a few minutes later, but I'm trying to find the WAR. Here we go. So defensive WAR wise, he is worth a 1.9. Sal as a batter is somehow only worth a 2.2 WAR, and JJ Weatherholt is worth a 3.1. In case if you are wondering, that adds up to a total of a 4.5 WAR somehow for JJ Weatherholt and a 1.8 for Sal. Now, Joe, let's go through the actual batting statistics, right? WAR is great, but let's look at the rest here. JJ Weatherholt in 118 games, 457 plate appearances. Sal's pretty much the same, 123, 468 plate appearances. He has scored 81 runs. Sal has scored 68. He has 111 hits. Sal has 121. He has 13 doubles. Sal has 23. Neither of them have a triple. He has 16 home runs. Sal has 26. He has 46 RBIs. Sal has 91. He has 13 stolen bases and 1 caught stealing. Sal has 12 stolen bases and 4 caught stealing. He has 62 walks. Sal has 53. He's got 83 strikeouts. Sal has 117. Their OPSs. He's got 726 and Sal has an 809. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about here. If I'm being honest with you, I am baffled at this point. WAR is cool. I'm a big fan of it. I know you are too. You mentioned it a lot, right, when talking about what a player's value is. But I don't know how you are going to have a guy who is tied for the league in RBIs, who is a top. Let me make sure I get this right before I make this claim, Joe. Give me 2 seconds here. He is top 15, 14 guy in terms of home runs. If he has one more, he will be top 12. Um, and he's one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in baseball. I am baffled. I am baffled that this is a thing. There are some people who claim that it is a runaway for JJ Weatherholt this season, and I am just shocked. I mean, it's just like, how is that possible? I mean, like runs created, OPS plus, like it's not even close. It's just not even close in that regard. And even defensively, like sure, Weatherholt's pretty good, like really good, honestly. He may even win a Gold Glove. But it's not like Sal's a slouch. Like I don't understand where his points zero, negative 0.7 WAR is, Joe. I explain this to me. What I'm missing.
I don't know if you're missing anything. I think WAR is a useful stat, but you have to be able to see more than the WAR is doing. You can't just not watch baseball games and look at the WAR. And that's something
Yeah.
we saw. You know, I'll say this: the first year Santiago Espinal was here, he was one of our best hitters the first month, and his WAR was like 0. And it's like, Espinal didn't finish out great, my guy, but he didn't finish out great here. But if you watch the games, he was getting hits. He was one of our leading average guys. He was moving runners over. The game just means so much more than looking at one number in the situation. So, this is a stat that is also by position. So, Sal being judged comparatively by an offense as opposed to other first baseman and third baseman when he plays this position. JJ Weatherholt, WAR wise, is being compared to other second basemen. Now, which position has more offense? Corner infield over the second baseman. That's just how it's always been, right? So he's getting credit for playing a different position, and good that he's better at defense. Rob, this league has never valued defense at all. I mean, Ozzie Smith, maybe he's probably not a great hitter. He's in the Hall of Fame. He has so many Gold Gloves. That's fine. If we're going to talk about this, Brandon Phillips needs to be in the Hall of Fame tomorrow, in the
Yeah.
Professional Baseball Hall of Fame. If this is going to be a defense, and he's not, and he should be, and maybe that's an argument against Sal. There is that I'm saying defense does matter, but no one has ever given a shit this much about it. So I'm getting sick of seeing it. It's pretty obvious. Rookie of the Year, baseball awards in general, they don't care about how good your team is, really. It's more just about the stats you put out there. That's baseball overall, right? For Hall of Fame, anything else. No one talks about Ken Griffey Jr. never winning a World Series or anything like that, or Barry Bonds never winning a World Series. It's a team sport, and it's just how it goes. So while the Cardinals might be a little bit better than the Reds right now, that doesn't matter. So I'm, I don't, I'm very shocked. I think it is a little bit of like media bias in a way too. Like St. Louis, more storied franchise, get more coverage. Their fans, everyone, oh, their fans are so good. We have a tarps off section now. You guys didn't show up to the ballpark the last 3 years, so shut the hell up. South Stewart is clearing in almost every way, and if you just look at WAR, and you're going to miss the whole picture because you're focusing about how JJ Weatherholt matches up against other second basemen. Very good rookie season. I don't think it's particularly close with Sal. And yes, traditional stats do matter, but also the advanced stats that aren't WAR. Though, like you said, OPS, everything else that we look at that we've been added, that we're looking at these days, is way better. So tied for the league in RBIs 91. So a month and a half season left. He can get up to 120-ish if he really, really has a good a month and a half here. He
Mm-hmm.
could probably be at 35-ish home runs max. That is a rookie of the year type season. And JJ Weatherholt, maybe he's having a rookie of the year season when it's like a bad crop of rookies, but
Yeah.
this is Sal Stewart's having one of the better rookie years you can remember in recent memory. There's all these stats going up about the like different things he is doing that other rookies have not done, or other guys. Rob, you always mentioned Pete Alonso's rookie year. He's doing stuff that makes you think that like this guy is going to be really really good for a long time. And I would hate if he lost the award because of the people who are crazy about the Cardinals, or the people who are suddenly trying to decide defense matters when they have just never decided it mattered in history.
So I love, God, I love you so much because this is exactly what I remember at the very beginning of the season. You remember what I said? I said if Sal will win Rookie of the Year if he has a Pete Alonso type season, right, for his first year, and he's having one. I mean, let's be real. He is very much having a very like, like I think Alonso ended up hitting a lot more home runs. Yeah, he had 53 home runs, right? Alonso had an outrageous season, 53 home runs, 30 doubles, 120 RBIs, right? If Sal even gets close to that, maybe not the home runs, but he's close in every other category. To be honest with you, like it is other than literally the home runs, it's very similar. Um, but JJ Weatherholt, to your point, there was a down year where a Cincinnati Red won Rookie of the Year, Joe. His name was Jonathan India. Let's look at these stats comparatively. Jonathan India had a 4.1 WAR. He has never even gotten close to that again. He had 143 hits. Pretty sure Weatherholt's almost on the exact same path here. He had 34 doubles. JJ Weatherholt's not even going to get close to that, by the way. He's 21 away from that. Doubt it even gets close. He had 2 triples. Weatherholt hasn't had any. He had 5 more home runs than Weatherholt had. 69 RBIs. JJ Weatherholt has to get 23 RBIs through the rest of the season. India batted 269 with a 835 OPS, and Weatherholt has a 726. And most people consider Jonathan India's year to be a down year for Rookie of the Year. And you're telling me that JJ Weatherholt, who's having a slightly worse season than Jonathan India's Rookie of the Year, is more deserving than Sal, who's having one that's closer to Pete Alonso's, other than the outrageous 53 home runs, which he has never done again, by the way. Like, and Sal's only getting better. And let's not forget as well, like, I mean, let me make sure. Yeah, I mean, Sal is also a full year younger than JJ Weatherholt. Like, I know that some people that matters, some it doesn't, but I know I hate the Cardinals. I won't even deny it. I can't stand them. And I know I'm biased towards Sal, but like, dude, this dude is the team. He is the team MVP this year. JJ Weatherholt isn't even in the top 2, at least. He might be the third best player for the Cardinals offensively this season. I mean, you got Alec Burleson and Jordan Walker who are doing a ton of work, where you just have had Ellie, who also was out for a time period, and Sal has had a really, really good season. Like, I don't understand it. I don't even understand why it's a conversation, but I at least wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we're talking about it down the stretch. It is one of the things to watch. To your point, Jonathan India, his WAR was inflated too. He also
Yep.
played second base. That's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't think Sal's getting enough credit for creating the offense in a way that JJ Weatherholt has not. In a way, like as you said, JJ Weatherholt's not top 2 or 3 on that team in terms of what he's providing to that offense. There's guys like obviously Jordan Walker, who's been a big story this year. Sal hasn't had the chance to drive in a lot of run. Like Ellie in front of him is having a good season, but this lineup is bad. We have been a bad team. People behind he doesn't score as many runs because JJ Bleday's batting 217, and yes, he does have 20 home runs. Gino's been not, obviously not been hitting the ball well. He's creating the offense, and there's a world where the team is better around him, and both his home runs go up because he has more protection in the lineup. His RBIs go up because people are on base, that we just talked about. It's a big issue with the Reds. There's a world where he's like playing much, much better stat wise, and he's already doing really, really well. So I think that also matters. Who's around you, all that stuff. No one's going to have a party and cry over it if your team stinks and you can't win Rookie of the Year, but some of it matters. Some of the context matters with this, and it's JJ Weatherholt, like great defensive second baseman so far in his career, but has he had more opportunity to drive in runs? Probably. He's. It just makes no sense to me. I'll leave it at that, Rob. It's just the WAR stuff is frustrating, and it's just he's so good on offense that it outweighs any defensive liability. Which again, I don't think he's really a liability on defense. He's not the greatest defender, but that's just how the sport works. And if people don't like it, that's sucks for them. But might end up we get to the end of the year and we're pissed about it because it's the Cardinals guy has to win, not the Reds guy. We've seen that plenty of times before.
Yeah, I mean, their 162 game average, Sal's going to do 91 runs, 28 doubles, 36 home runs, 114 RBIs with a 258 batting average, 150 strikeouts. Weatherholt is going to be 111 runs scored, which is insane. I mean, that I will
Yep.
give him, but 152 hits, which is still less than Sal, 18 doubles, 22 home runs, and 60 RBIs. I don't know. I don't think it's very close, personally. I mean, those runs scored are crazy. I will give him that. But he also is, again, batting in front of 2 guys who are just absolutely mashing this season. So, I mean, it's just a different thing for me. It's just Do you value the table setter that JJ Weatherhold is, or do you value the fact that Sal's the one who's actually in those situations having to get it done? I mean, he bears down when there are runners in scoring position. I mean, he had that opportunity on what was it Saturday? Might have been Saturday. I think it was that 8-4 loss, whenever that was. And he just poked that ball into right field, man. I mean, he just was reached out, got it on that 0-2 count, and made sure that he got a single that scored the 2 runs. I mean, he's that guy. And I mean, I predict he will hit 40 home runs in the next 2 or 3 seasons at some point. I think he right now is more focused on doing what the team needs. I hope he doesn't, go into full Suarez or Jay Bruce mode where they just give up on hitting for average at all and go for home runs. I don't think Sal is that kind of guy because I think it's better to hit in runs. I think it's more important to hit in runs than how you hit them. If it's home runs, whatever. But I mean, my God, if we have a guy who's going to hit 36 home runs and drive in 100 plus RBIs every season for the foreseeable future and not be a huge strikeout guy in the middle of your order, I mean, he is your prototypical three hitter who is just going to be outrageously good. And I just can't. I don't see how you don't give him Rookie of the Year. If he doesn't get Rookie of the Year, it's truly just a bias against Cincinnati, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, unless he goes into a major slump, that's when it gets close. Right now, it's not close. If he goes to a major slump, kind of like Ellie's having right now, but Ellie's batting average has dropped like 20 points and everything else has dropped too. Maybe it gets closer and maybe there's an argument for JJ Weatherholt. We can address that when we get to that point. Otherwise, I mean, are they hoping for an injury? Like, I don't know. Like, there's just nothing. I'm not saying the Cardinals fans are hoping for an injury. I'm just saying, like, what are the realistic ways JJ Weatherholt can get the award? And other than just media bias, it's like one of those two things. So that's what stinks. But yeah, I'm excited too, Rob. I think Sal, regardless of whether he wins it or not, like maybe in a way for the Reds, it's better if he doesn't win it, just because he'll be motivated next year to come out and just kill everything. Not saying I want that to happen to him, but sometimes bad circumstances can create things. But you're right. This is a prototypical three hitter. We can have Ellie at the top 1 or 2 spot. We can find another leadoff hitter, and this lineup looks a lot better going into the future. Again, assuming Ellie stays healthy, and that's where the main thing has to be is like this guy is doing this as a rookie. The expectation isn't maybe to be Pete Alonso and be that big of a star, but the expectation should be he's going to be a very good hitter for us for several years. Up there with the star power of Ellie De La Cruz. He's going to be just up there with Ellie in terms of we have two really good hitters that are both young still and under club control for a while. So that'll be fun.
Hey, two top 30 hitters I will take every year, no matter what. All right, let's move on. We've got Cardinals Diamondbacks this week, Joe. Cardinals, 5 games, 2 starting here in just a couple of hours. It'll be Quinn Matthews versus it might even be that guy who we just talked about who got called up. To be honest with you, and then it'll be Andre Palante versus Rhett Lauder, Kyle Leahy versus Andrew Abbott, Matthew Liberatore versus Chase Burns, and Michael McGreevy versus Brady Singer. What I will tell you is there is a lot of rain expected in Cincinnati. You should 100% anticipate that they will move games around and do whatever they have to do to make sure all 5 of these games get in this week. The Reds are going to be exhausted. The Cardinals are going to be exhausted coming out of this series, but they are going to do their damnedest. I mean, there may even be 2 doubleheader games this week, which would be outrageous, but it is very much a possibility right now. Because again, they just have to get these games in because this is the last time I think the teams face each other this season. So, let's be real. I mean, the Cardinals have been on a bit of a dry streak as well. They're pretty much in the same spot as the Reds now. It's just kind of battling it out for, who's going to be third between us, them, and the Pirates at this point. Now, I know the Cardinals are still in it. They're 2 games above 500, but they have gone on a crazy 7-3 streak here. They did not play well against us last time. And yeah, I mean, these 5 games will define both team seasons. I mean, if the Reds happen to win all 5, they will easily jump over the Cardinals and the Pirates. And they will be in the wild card race at that point. If they win 3, it's great for morale, is what I'll say. You lose anything more than 3, and it is 100. That last nail in the coffin is 1 hit away already. That is put it in dead, team gone.
Yeah,
Let's go on to
that's
next season.
no, that's so exactly what I was thinking. Is it's especially since they had that moment in the locker room after the Saturday game, Rob, where they were all just so silent. Like, if you still have hope, and we don't, they have a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs according to ESPN. But if you have hopes, you need to win all five. I mean, but that's crazy. Maybe the hope I have here, Rob, is maybe Sal is like reading the comments about JJ Weatherholt. He's getting pumped up, the team gets amped up, and they go on a little bit of a run. Right? That's
That'd
my
be
hope. It
insane.
doesn't have any. There's no logic to it. It's just emotion and all that stuff, which is fine. But this team, yeah, this team is good, Rob. Like they're playing better than we thought. But the way they've played this year is way better than we expected. Watch out for Alec Burleson, Jordan Walker. Those guys right behind Sal's heels at RBIs. They both have over 20 home runs. They tried. I think they considered trading Alec Burleson. Decided he's too valuable, even if he doesn't. He's too valuable the way he plays offense, even if he isn't the greatest defender. Shocker, they don't really care about defense in other parts of the baseball, but that's all right. This is a series where I said they're going to win two out of five. Yeah, it's weird saying that 5 game series, but 2 out of 5. The emotion isn't there, the start pitching isn't there. We're bringing up guys who knows how good they're going to be bullpen wise, and the Cardinals have a little bit more to play for because you're right. If the Cardinals win 4 out of 5, I mean they're right there. If they win 5 out of 5, they're definitely right there. So I'll say two out of 5. Hopefully Sal can kind of will us to another win there.
I'm gonna go 3. I just think that I think they're gonna give us one last breath. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna work out, but that's just where I'm at with it. I think they're gonna give one last big push here. I think they realize that this is it, and they probably hate the Cardinals even more than we do. So it's more of a let's get in there and take care of business. I just haven't felt like this Cardinals team has been great all season. They've been good. I still feel like we have some better pieces than them. Although that new Baez kid also had 3 home runs and
Yeah.
his first 3 at bats against the Cubs this weekend. So maybe I should go 2. I don't know. I think just throw that kid breaking balls until he proves that he can hit them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, if he becomes as good of a hitter as they think he's going to be, then we are in trouble because the Cardinals rebuild will have gone exponentially faster than I think any of us thought it was going to, which kills me. Again, go snipe some of their hitting coaches or something. Figure out why they can turn guys into decent hitters because our guys have had similar stats to some of theirs coming up and have been similarly heralded prospects and still not been able to get it done. All right, Diamondbacks afterwards. So the Reds will play 8 games this week. They got Lodolo going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. Rhett Lauder will go against Mitch Bratt, and Abbott will go against Merrill Kelly. The Diamondbacks are also very much in it right now, Joe. So again, if the Reds wanted to pull out their 10-game winning streak, literally right now would be the absolutely most golden possible time for them to do so. I don't anticipate it, but it is theoretically possible for them to do it. There have been teams, the Marlins have gone on them. Even I think the Cardinals, the Pirates have gone on some huge winning streaks. Even 8-2 here would get the Reds back to 1 game over 500 and technically in the race. Yeah, I mean, this Diamondbacks team's good. They've been playing well. They've made the right moves that they've needed to. They only made the one trade, but it's worked out, I would say, pretty well for them. Personally, it's been solid for them getting Lars Nootbaar. So Nolan Arenado's been hitting better again. Corbin Carroll's been solid this season. Gabriel Moreno is, I think, one of the more underrated catching guys in baseball right now, to be honest with you. I don't know, Joe. I mean, this is a good team. There's just not much more to say than that. They're a good team.
Yeah, they've really come on lately. They started off the season slow, and I think it's impacting their stats, right? Like Corbin Carroll, another issue of WAR is he has 4.7 WAR. Stats really don't add up to that, in my opinion, especially just like 18 home runs, 57 RBIs. That's fine. Playing outfield where is more competition. It's just weird. So, arguably should have been a team that is well ahead in terms of making the so the wild card playoffs or wild card spots right now. But they've like building ground back up is how I would put it. A team that really has had just in a different way than the Reds, a lot of inconsistencies all year. I think this is a good team. I think they could get better as the season goes on and maybe make some noise in the playoffs. I'm not going to like predict that they're going to beat the Dodgers or maybe the Braves, but maybe they can win a series in the playoffs if they get in there. I'm going to say the Reds win one out of the three here. I don't know which one. Don't really have much faith in our bullpen with how many games they're going to have to pitch this week, 8 games in 7 days. So I'll say they win one and just we'll leave it at that.
I'm gonna have them win one too. Yeah, they go four and that'd be 4-5, or no, 4-4 this week for me. Um, that's pretty much they've been playing 500 baseball, so it's kind of about where I see them going this week. And I mean, it'd be nice. Like I said, I mean, if you guys are holding out for, I mean, it's a 1% chance that anybody, goes on an 8-game winning streak. They have about a little less than 1% chance to make the playoffs. So they win all 8 games this week for some reason. They are very much in it, but well, that still probably won't be enough. They'll still probably be about 3 games back, I think, at that point. But it's there. The opportunity's there. You just keep winning, win as much as you can. All right, Joe. We didn't think this was gonna go long, but I think the Sal Stewart stuff and the Spencer Steer stuff took up a lot of time, and that's okay. Let's get into your fun facts and wise words before we get on out of here.
Congratulations, Spencer Steer. Just had a kid. I guess good timing that he's not playing. He's just hanging out with the family. That's good for him, and hopefully he can get back healthy here soon. A couple of different notes here, Rob. We have Matt McClain has gone through the longest errorless streak, even longer than Brandon Phillips at second base. That was something I think Lance McAllister brought up on his show or on Twitter. And then also Chase Burns is getting a lot of comparisons to Dwight Gooden now. He is doing stuff. If he goes through the rest of the season without it with a under 2.5 ERA, he'll be the only person under the age of 24 to pitch that many innings, pitch that many games, and have an ERA under 2.5. He's the first pitcher. Earlier this year, was the first pitcher 23 or younger with 100 strikeouts and an ERA no greater than 2 through his first 15 games of a season since Dwight Gooden. So it's a couple different times that he's been in the same sentence as Dwight Gooden. And yes, there were obviously some off the field issues with Dwight Gooden that kind of cost him some of his prime and everything else. But when he was young, he was so good for those Mets teams. So that is a perfect person to be. If you wanted this guy to be a Cy Young every single year type of guy, that's a perfect person to be compared to. Very excited to see that he is in that company.
Yeah, I mean, he's been just outrageous. If you want to look at the future for the Reds, look at him. No, look no further than him and Sal Stewart right now. Obviously, we would love for Ellie to stick around, and I think the chances grow depending on what happens with this lockout. To be honest with you, I think if they get a salary cap in there, I've been telling people for a while, if there's a salary floor, more specifically, that is established, and it maybe pumps that number up to 130 million or something like that, 150 million for every team to have to spend. Something crazy like that, right? The Reds will 100% have to spend money, and they'd rather give it to the guys that they know than the guys they don't know. So, you could see Sal, you could see Ellie get those raises, get that money that we are looking for. This offseason is going to be paramount for the Cincinnati Reds, and their very young core of guys, including Chase Burns, including Sal, including Ellie, Andrew Abbott, all those guys. If you want them to stick around, even a couple of them, you better hope that these, negotiations go in a way where it's going to force the Reds' hand to have to spend money. MLB, it's going to require the MLB to share more money, which they don't seem to love to do. But Joe, I think that's going to wrap it up for us on this episode. So thanks for watching, guys. And from our house to yours, we'll catch you on the next one.